This latest period of training has been unlike any other period of my training life. And I've been at this for a little while now. This is my 8th year of serious training. Before that, I also trained, but it was more, not as focused, basketball, fitness, running, all that sort of stuff. Last 8 years has been solely strength, improving my squat, deadlift, bench. That's kind of been the number one concern for me. Very, very focused last 8 years, which is a decent period of time. But this last 2-3 weeks, maybe even a month, has been unlike any other period of my life. I've had quad soreness basically the entire time for the last 2 or 3 weeks. Ever since introducing high rep squats, ever since I've introduced bodyweight squats, my quads are basically sore every single day, depending on the severity. It's always basically a 2 out of 10 soreness. Sometimes it gets up to like 8 or 9, depending on what I do. But the soreness is not going away. That is very interesting. And in the last, I want to say week and a half, ever since I tried that 180 front squat attempt, I've felt weaker. I felt more fatigued. I felt like I've hit a wall. Yesterday I got to the gym. I wanted to go up to the second level of the gym to check out what they have up there. I was looking for the 45-degree hyper, whether they bought it. I haven't been up that part of the gym in a long time. 2 flights of stairs, and by the time I got up there, I had a quad pump. So that is the extent of my fatigue in the quads. I'm somebody that never used to get quad anything, any soreness, discomfort, nothing. And I've been squatting almost 900 days, man. And only the last 2 weeks I've felt this quad type of tension, soreness, and it's all because of this high rep stuff that I'm doing. My quads have grown. I feel them as I walk. It's part of my body now, whereas before they're not really part of my body. Like I didn't have that feedback, like there was mass there. And this is interesting coming from a guy who, like I said, has been squatting 900 plus days. This is a very long time of squatting. And yet there is a way of squatting without using your quads as a primary lifter, as a primary mover. It's all kind of very, very interesting, especially the fact that I squat ATG. So the knee angle is basically maximized in an ATG squat. Yet you can move in a way where you don't lean into a quad as much as maybe glutes or adductors. So I need to kind of work out how I'm going to progress. I can't continue on another month of always having soreness. So in the last few days, I've kind of devised a plan, if you will, where I have 1 day of no quad attention or no quad fatiguing work, kind of like, high rep front squats or bodyweight squats. Today was one of those days where I didn't do any quad work. Yesterday was the day I didn't do any quad work. Today I came in and I did a lot of quad work. So I did, how many sets did I do? I did 12 sets of 30 bodyweight squats, and I split it up into 2 lots. So 5 lots of 30 before the training session and then 7 sets of 30 after the training session. My quads wanted to blow up. They were so engorged with blood. All the way from the hip all the way to the kneecap. It's a nice feeling, especially for a guy that's never used to feel quad pumps. Singles, doubles, triples, fives. Rarely do I feel a tingle in the quads. Usually when I would push volume in a normal barbell squat, even with heels or flats, doesn't really matter. If I really push it, I feel adductor soreness the following day. Sometimes I would feel glutes. Sometimes I would feel lower back. Sometimes I would feel obliques, but never quads, no matter what I did. Until I did really high rep work, sets of 30, 40s, 50s, sets of 20s, various different weights. It's almost like my quads are only responsive to high rep work, which is why one of the reasons I'm sticking with this rep work is because I feel like I'm hitting the nail on the head in terms of my weaknesses. I am also somebody that is permanently stuck in an anterior pelvic tilt. Now you can make your diagnosis whether this is a case of weak quads that are too tight, overacting quads that are too strong, whatever the case might be. When I put anterior pelvic tilt and no soreness, no feedback, no anything after squatting for so many days. I basically link the two and I'll be like, okay, I'm pretty weak in the quads. And so in recent training, in the last 2-3 weeks, I've had really good response. I've had 3 PRs in the last 2 weeks. And they were all as a back off doing these high rep sets. I hit 170 front squat PR. Then I followed that up a few days later with 175. A few days after that, I tried 180. So these are very good symptoms that I'm addressing a weakness. Front squats are predominantly run by the quads in terms of the lower body. Yes, there's a lot of stuff going up in the upper body as well. Upper back, tightness, obliques, all the abdominals. There's a lot of going on in front squats. And of course, I've also set a 212.5 kilo back squat PR. This has all come off the decision, the change in training, where I started doing a lot of high rep work, which seems to be hitting my quads a lot. So in the next, in the next period of training, I'm continuing the same trend, but I really think I need to kind of back off the frequency of these quad sessions, because I feel like I really need some reprieve. I need some respite from the high rep work. High rep work is unlike your low rep work, your singles. You can do singles every single day. High rep stuff, even though it's really, really high reps and they're kind of self-restorative in a way because of the perfusion, the blood that you get through the muscle, it's still quite heavy. And I don't mind the soreness. The soreness is not a thing, but I feel like now the soreness is getting to a point where I can't climb up a set of stairs without getting a full freaking quad pump. So I need to back off a little bit. So I'm going to do that. In those in-between days, I'm going to take the opportunity to hit the hamstrings. I've simply neglected the hamstrings in the last month or so. But I'm going to hit them back again. How am I going to hit hamstrings? I'm going to hit them the cheapest way possible. I'm going to hit them regularly with hamstring curls. And then maybe once a week or something to that effect, I'm going to do high rep deadlifts. Now, high rep deadlifts are as an expensive exercise as you can find. Very, very taxing. It's not just a hamstring exercise. It's a full body exercise. Everything gets lit up. From the freaking heel of your calf all the way up to the freaking neck and more. And, I'm getting oblique soreness as well after those, sets of 10 with 200 kilos and things of that nature. So it's very, very taxing. So on one end, I'm doing lots of frequency with cheap stuff, hamstring curls, and I'm doing very little frequency with very expensive stuff like the 200 kilos for 10. Maybe next time I can try 210 for 10. So that's the plan right now. It kind of, in my mind, makes sense to balance out all this freaking quad work with some hamstring work, even though I deadlift quite often, 4 or 5 days a week, basically at this stage it is. I feel good about that, but I feel like I need some blood through there. The key words for the last 3-4 weeks has been high rep work, has been blood work, pump work, bodybuilding. This is the kind of stuff that makes me feel good and makes me feel like I can progress. And it only makes sense that I need some blood work, I need some pump work for the hamstrings as well. And so yesterday, that's what I did. I did a lot of hamstring curls. I didn't really talk about it in yesterday's video because it was dominated by what happened yesterday. But that's the plan right now. So tomorrow I'm coming in with my sore hamstrings from yesterday, and I'm going to hit them up again. So quad day, hamstring day, that's kind of the setup. And then on hamstring days, I'm hoping to do some upper body as well. So maybe some more bench press, definitely not a PR or heavy work. Do some volume through there. And like I said to you guys yesterday, when I don't bench for a long time and then I bench and I hit some volume, what do I get? I get the radial brachialis DOMs in my wrists. It happens every single time. And I think that's good. And then today's front rack fell also very, very solid. So there's a few things going on, few things happening through my mind. But basically what sparked this idea was, well, one, the soreness of the quads. I don't want to get freaking quad pumps just one flight of stairs. Clearly there's there's recovery points to be had there. And also I went back through my log and I had another look through to see that period, maybe that 2-3 period before I hit the 265 deadlift. What did I do? And it was a lot of hamstring work. The hamstring work wasn't done in the hope to increase the deadlift. It was basically, I was in the whole Louis Simmons hamstring world, sumos, RDLs, back extensions, yes. Good mornings, mostly. That's kind of the Louis world of hamstrings. Listened to a lot of him, and that was kind of on the menu as well, the hamstring curls. And what do you know? I set a PI in the deadlift. So now I'm trying to kind of merge these two worlds, the recent success that I've had with quad work and the previous success that I've had with hamstring work. I'm trying to roll it up into one program right now. I feel like that's what I need. Just like after COVID, I felt like I needed to breathe. I needed to, do high rep work. Now I feel like I need to do some hamstring work. And so hopefully, it's really, really hard as a natural athlete to have, several lifts, increase in the same period. I'm sure it happens. But I know for myself, I've never had a period where I've had in the same kind of block, if you will, have the bench press, squat, and the deadlift all increase at the same time. Maybe that happens in your early part of your training career where you are untrained, those noob gains, all that kind of stuff. But for me, that usually doesn't happen. Usually it's kind of like I have a squat PR, like, front squat, back squat, that's kind of similar stuff. Have a squat PR, and then maybe a few weeks later, or a few months later, or even half a year later, I get a deadlift PR. That's kind of how it happens. It always responds to volume. That's kind of the secret here. If you want to increase your freaking deadlift, you're going to have to put a lot of volume into that whole deadlift and deadlift accessories world. But those things might not necessarily carry over to the squat. Sometimes they do. It depends how you squat, low bar, high bar, front squat, whatever you want to do. But that's kind of how it happens. And, to say to yourself, I'm going to do extra volume for all three lifts, that's not naturally possible. You can't do, everything. You can't do lots of push-ups. What had me increase my bench to 140 the first time around. Lots of push-ups, lots of reps through there. And then go and smash the hamstrings, and then go and smash the bodyweight squats and the front squats. That's impossible to do in a week. You can fit it all in a week, but then you are taking away from each other, each of those baskets of volume. So that's kind of how I feel about this. So right now I really want that 180 front squat. I'm really kind of focused on that, but I've worked out that I can't really fight for that every single day. The quads are upset. They're freaking sore every day. So I need to back off. And now I'm going to back off. I'm going to try and put the cheapest shit that I can find, some hamstring curls, and kind of fill that gap with that. It might not work, it might clash, you might make both of them numb, both of them not progress. That might well be the case, but hopefully it's not. Hopefully I can, coexist at the same time. So let's see how this pans out. If it doesn't work out, if I feel like I'm stagnating again, then I'm going to drop the hamstrings again, and I'm going to go, really, really hard on the bodyweight squats every other day. And that middle day or that off day, I'm not going to do anything. So this is the thing. It's always kind of in flux. I'm always trying to palpate the vital signs that my body's kind of telling me, and I'm like, okay, it's how I'm going to program the next few weeks. What do I need? It's kind of like, instead of making decisions 6 weeks ago, I'm making decisions on the fly, and I'm assessing vital signs. When you're in a resource room, man, like, you don't go, oh, this is a chest pain, this is a acute coronary syndrome, this is a cardiac arrest, okay, this is what we need to do. But no, you are constantly analyzing, you're constantly taking blood tests, arterial blood gases, you're constantly taking vital signs, ECGs, you're constantly doing things, and you are responding to what the patient is doing. You can't be blind, and assume that every patient that comes in with chest pain is going to be the same. No, it's not like that. This is kind of the influence that I have from the medical world, is that you always, have your finger on the pulse and adapting to what the situation is. You don't want to overreact, you don't want to underreact, but through experience, you kind of work out what needs to be done. Yes, the criticism is always, Ivan, you haven't given enough time for these symptoms to occur. You haven't given enough time for some of these implementations in the program to take effect. I'm well aware of that, and I count for that as well. But after a while, man, after a while of training, you really know what a true symptom is and what a pseudo symptom is, if that's a thing. Anyway, that's it for me today. Thank you everyone on the comments. I need to catch up to you guys. I feel like I've been busy the last few days, but I will make a better effort in the next few days, hopefully. And thank you everyone on the Patreon list. Like always, I appreciate you guys. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace out.